Hi, this is Ananya. Welcome to Newzbeats latest update. Why growth is FY23 is pegged at just 8 to 8.5%. The Economic Survey 2021-22 has projected a modest 8 to 8.5% growth rate for the next financial year 2022-23. This is significantly lower than the 9.2% expansion projected by the NSO in its first advance estimates for 2021-22. It is also lower than the 9% growth estimate by the IMF in its World Economic Outlook for the current year and the next. Behind the conservative estimate for the next year are not just the many risks, global inflation to shortage of inputs posed by COVID-19, the survey points to, but also its assessment that the economic slowdown introduced by the pandemic is not merely a demand problem. Income from transfer to digital assets to be charged 30% tax, ending the ambiguity over the taxation of gains stemming from investments in cryptocurrency. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Tuesday announced that gains from such investments will be levied at 30%. Bitcoin, the most prominent cryptocurrency, was up in trading. However, losses on account of such investments will not be allowed to be set off. This will provide the much needed clarity to investors in various cryptocurrencies. Earlier, the government had also announced the introduction of a digital rupee based on the blockchain technology. Sitharaman proposes increase of employees' tax deduction limit to 14%. While presenting the union budget, Nirmala Sitharaman proposed that both centre and state government employees' tax deduction limit should be increased from 10% to 14% to help the social security benefits of state government employees and bring them up par with the central government employees. She added, corporate surcharge to be reduced from 12% to 7%. I propose to provide that any income from transfer of any virtual digital asset shall be taxed at the rate of 30%. No deduction in respect of any expenditure or allowance shall be allowed while computing such income, except cost of acquisition. Budget 2022 Railways. 400 energy efficient Vande Bharat trains on track. India will manufacture 400 new energy efficient Vande Bharat trains in the next 3 years. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that apart with an eye on farmers, the rail sector will also develop one station, one product, which will leverage local produce carried on the railways. She said, bringing out new products, railways will also roll out postal railways for carriage of parcels, giving a thrust to a new business area. Economic Survey Key Challenges and Concerns for Indian Economy. Despite a projected 9.2% growth in GDP in FY22 to above pre-pandemic levels, the Indian economy continues to face a slew of structural challenges that existed prior to the pandemic and new challenges brought on by COVID-19. Inflation is the most important headwind. The survey notes that supply chain disruptions and slow economic growth have contributed to an increase in inflation. The withdrawal of stimulus in developed economies in the upcoming fiscal is likely to affect capital flows into the country. Karanjit Singh writes, fiscal deficit estimated at 6.9%, Nirmala Sitharaman. Considering the additional committed expenditure allocations of the government over and above the last year's budget numbers, there were concerns that the government would likely see a slippage on its fiscal deficit target. But the finance minister has announced only a marginal slippage as against a budget target of 6.8% GDP in 2021-22. The fiscal deficit is estimated at 6.9%. Next year, in line with the glide path of consolidation, the centre has pegged to bring down its deficit to 6.4%. Government to set up independent system operator in natural gas transmission sector. The government has announced that an independent system operator in the natural gas transmission sector will be set up for booking and coordination of common carrier capacity to ensure unbiased allocation of natural gas transportation capacity. The impact is the announcement, which was also made in the previous budget, is aimed at addressing concerns of bias in allocation of gas transportation capacity by players such as GAIL involved in the transportation of natural gas. Ujjwala scheme extended to 1 crore more households. FM announced that the Ujjwala scheme, which is aimed at providing clean cooking fuel to poor households through LPG connections, would be extended to a further 1 crore households. Impact is the Ujjwala scheme has already provided LPG connections to 8 crore households. Rising prices of LPG in line with international prices of fuel coupled with the withdrawal of subsidies on LPG cylinders could reduce the impact of LPG connections in the short term. Budget proposed a digital rupee using blockchain. Budget has proposed to introduce digital rupee using blockchain and other tech to be issued by RBI starting 2022-23. Impact is introduction of central bank digital currency to boost digital economy and lays down a solid plan of the government to have a public digital currency.